After taking the last few weeks to rebuild my blown up Duramax, we're finally getting back to work on my Wrecked STI. The engine's been pulled, the frame's been straightened, the interior was gutted of all its damaged parts, and now it's time to start rebuilding the front end. In the last video, we got the engine completely rebuilt, so when we get the front structure ready to go, we should be able to drop the engine in and have a running car. So let's go recover this thing from my yard and get it back in the shop where it belongs. Well, whatever tree is above this car has made quite the mess all over every square inch of this car. And of course we have no hood or anything on it, so it is all over the engine bay as well. And it's not like this stuff just comes right up, like it is stuck. So we're gonna take the pressure washer. I'm gonna have to absolutely beam this thing, and then we'll have to figure out what to do with all the residual stuff, because I mean, yeah, this is not gonna be fun by any means. More than likely, once it's all cleaned up, we'll have to do like a cut and buff on the paint, because it's gonna stain pretty bad. So I'm gonna get it pulled out into the driveway, and we'll get the pressure washer fired up and see what we can do. It is pretty cold this morning here in North Carolina. It's about 26 degrees. So the winter jacket's on, and we're gonna see if we can get this car cleaned up, and then we can continue finally getting it rebuilt. Well, here we have it. After a couple hours with the pressure washer, got this about as good as I can with water and soap. As you can see, the roof still has quite a bit of stains, but we should be able to get that. Once it's in the shop, we can either get it with a DA or probably a rag and some detailer, be able to clean it up. But the sides of the car actually cleaned up really well. Just the top surfaces, you can still see there's some stains that require a little extra effort. It's a fresh, brisk morning outside, and first thing we had to do is get a cold start on our boy Panzer, and then we can get the white VA in the shop. Bro, how sick is this freaking car? Oh my god. I love that so much. This is my first time seeing it in like the cold weather, where we can actually have some good old clouds above the car. Yep, I know what you're gonna say. She's vaping, baby. Damn. Well, it looks like we finally got some oil dripping out of the hatch. No biggie. Nothing a certified YouTube mechanic can't figure out. And now we're ready to start working on this thing. And the first thing we're actually gonna do is demod the car. Now, some of you guys might disagree with me on this one, but this car has Cusco rear lower control arms on it, and I need those for my hatch. So I'm gonna pull them off this car, replace it with a set of OEM stock rear lower control arms that I've had laying around for years, and then we'll get these ones powder coated and slapped on my hatch. Let's get these wheels off, and hopefully these things are in somewhat decent shape. shoot, I mean, at this point, instead of OEM ones might actually be an upgrade. These things are pretty crusty, but I'm gonna do my best to get them refreshed and looking brand new again before they go on the hatch, obviously. So that'll be a later job, but we gotta get the other one off, and then we can get the new OEM one slapped on. Out with the old, in with the new. Car's back on the ground, and we are ready to start prepping for this reconstruction of the front end. So this radiator support needs to come off, so I'm gonna pull this headlight off, probably pull the fender off, and that way we can, get better access to whatever spot welds hold this piece in, because this entire thing is getting replaced. And I think even this bottom piece is also getting replaced. I'll have to look at the new one in the box. And then we also need to get the pieces ready to weld back in here. Now the frame shop I had the car at, they did a really good job getting everything back straight, as straight as they could. Strut tower's in the right spot. That whole kind of apron is in the right spot, but there's one section that it doesn't look like they could get. And I'm gonna try my best to work it out here, but let me show you. Everything you're seeing right here is back in the right spot. However, if we look right there, there's still a little bit of a wrinkle, and I'd like to get that out. Now, it looks like they heated around this area to bend this back straight, but it's probably tough to get here. Now, if we look on the back side, there is a plug here with a big hole. So I'm gonna try to heat this up from this side and then use something to bead on it from behind this little access hole, and hopefully we can get it at least looking a little bit better, because it's a little bit too big of a wrinkle for my liking. But we'll get to that once I get everything else stripped down and ready to replace. Well, that left quite the mess on the floor, but there's actually an entire other ecosystem living in the frame of this car. This is probably the 4th or 5th species we found while I've been digging this thing apart. Kale, if you're watching this, leave a comment. Let me know, where... I don't know. What the... why are there so many animals in this car? Listen, I'm no blacksmith, but I was able to heat that up and bend it back almost completely how it's supposed to be. Yeah, there's still a little bit of a kink in there, but we can work that out later. And this entire thing's gonna get resprayed, so it's not gonna be that ugly. Next thing we gotta do is start tearing the pieces off of this that we're gonna need. So I need that piece there. So I'll have to pull off all the seam sealer, drill out the spot welds and seal that. I need those two pieces down there, and then I need this piece right here, and that should be it. All of this will get replaced with the new radiator support that's chilling over there. And a few minutes later, we got a few of these pieces transferred over. Now, nothing is tacked in yet, but it is sitting somewhat in the spot it's supposed to, and everything lines up, so that's good news. But as my Harbor Freight drill batteries charge, it's a perfect time to try out some of the new tools I got, as you can probably see on the wall behind me. Our guys at Giraffe Tools hooked us up with a wall-mounted pressure washer, vacuum, extension cord, and air hose reel. Now these are tools that I will use all the time and take to my dream shop when I get that built. These things are super clean, they sit up and out of the way, and they're obviously very functional. Now the pressure washer I don't have hooked up yet, but it is obviously mounted. I'm gonna run a line from here straight to my hot water heater, which is conveniently right next to it. And yeah, I'm just gonna have a plumber friend come out. We'll kind of turn this valve somewhat into a T, something like that, and then just run a line straight to here. But I have all sorts of metal shavings and crap on the ground, so no better time to try out the vacuum. Right here we got all sorts of attachments. I'm gonna probably use this thing since we're doing the floor. And now we can grab our nozzle, pull this thing out, and we're good to go. Consider me impressed. That thing actually works really freaking good. Okay, as it sits right now, we are very close to how these pieces need to sit. I have everything just clamped in place right now, but it is fitting pretty much exactly where it needs to be, so I'm pretty happy with it. So I think the move now is to take it back off. We'll take the polishing flat disc on the angle grinder, clean everything up the best we can, and then I'm gonna lay some weld through primer down. We'll get everything back on right around where we think it's got to go, clamp it down, and then I'll just run a few tacks around it, and that'll hold it in place but still allow us to move it or break it off if we need to. And then we'll get some of the body panels on and make sure that all the gaps look right, everything fits as it should. That's obviously the goal. We want this thing to look as good, if not better, than it did coming from the factory. And it's my mission to make that happen. So I'll go ahead off camera, get everything cleaned up, get everything back on, and then I'll pick up the camera when we go to lay some tacks down. Well, I couldn't wait anymore. I wanted to get this front radiator support on, one, to make sure it fits, but also just to see how this thing will look with a clean front end on it. And everything seems to line up pretty good. Now you can see I didn't spot weld anything in yet. This will get spot welded there. Same thing on this side, we'll get spot welded there. And then up here, these will get spot welded, these will get spot welded, this will get spot welded to that. Bunch of little spot welds just to make sure everything is secure. But it is so good to see everything line up and fit and look straight, because this thing was freaking mangled. Way worse than it looked when it was crashed with all the body panels on. We revealed a lot of hidden damage. So it's good to see it's starting to get worked out. Also, I forgot to mention, for the Giraffe Tool stuff, if you use code PANZER on giraffetools.com, you're gonna save 10% on any order over 300 bucks. So go get yourself a vacuum, get yourself a pressure washer, get yourself some goodies, and start building your dream garage. Now moving back to the car, I've decided I wanna paint this radiator support with it off the car, because there's some areas like down in there, behind the frame rails, underneath. Ideally, I want this to be perfect and blend in with the car. So I wanna paint this white to match, and it'll be easier to do it off the car. Now, like I said, we still have to do all of the welding where all the spot welds go, but I think if we spray everything and just avoid the spot welded areas, we'll be able to touch that up afterwards, make it look perfect, and it'll be a lot easier to hit just those specific areas than all the little tight spots on the radiator support once it's, you know, firm in place. So that's my idea. Now, unfortunately, by the time I get home from work nowadays, it's pitch black out. So I am gonna wait until the weekend to spray it. It's supposed to be nice this weekend. It's been really cold, and then we'll obviously have daylight. So hopefully it'll just go better overall, but I do have something else we gotta knock out. Let's open up these goodies and see what we got. right here we have pretty much everything to get the interior of the car back together. We got the steering wheel airbag, clock spring, we got the 2 seat belts, we got the airbag module, and the above the knee or under the steering wheel airbag. Now, I owe a huge shout out to Safety Restorer. These are actually the original seat belts and the original airbag module I sent to them, and they got this reset, they got the seat belts reset, and they hooked it up for the channel. And with that said, I do have a discount code for them as well to give to you guys. Code WELCOME10 will save you 10% off any of the services they offer. They can do seat belts for a crazy variety of cars, airbag modules as well. I think my buddy Devin got his done for a GT3 RS. So if you're doing a wrecked rebuild like me and you need this done, hit them up, safetyrestorer.com. Great company, crazy fast turnaround times, and they hooked me up and gave me 10% to give to you guys. So I'm gonna stop blabbing and get this stuff back in the car. So first things first, we need to remove the steering wheel along with the steering column trim so we can access the clock spring. We can then remove the electrical connectors and then remove the clock spring from the car. When installing the new clock spring, it's important to make sure everything is straight and aligned, and then we can go ahead and plug in the electrical connectors. The steering wheel can now be reinstalled along with the new steering wheel airbag. Next, we can move on to the knee airbag, which is held in with just a couple nuts, and then the rest of the trim will just clip together. Moving on to the airbag module, this is held in with 1 bolt and 2 nuts, and then just the electrical connector. Once all that is in, we can reinstall the shift console and get that all put back together. And finally, we can move on to the seat belts, which are just held in with a few bolts and airbag connectors. I think I'm gonna wrap up this video right here. It was really good to get this car cleaned up and back in the shop. We got the front end going together, got the interior finished up and cleaned. And yeah, I'm gonna get the front painted this weekend, get everything tacked, and then hopefully everything lines up and we'll be smooth sailing to finish this rebuild. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Till then, peace out, see y'all later.